Hi, Carol here. Warm welcome to my craft room. Well, today it's time for another shaker card. I'm going to dedicate most of my product to Altenew. My fresh water well here where you press the button and it sends the water down into the well. I'll be using that. My tulip fold down little cup there for water. And the products, I was going through my stash. I love this Crafty Friend stamp, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to use anything on here, so I put it aside. You'll really love that. The sentiments over on Altenew are beautiful, the fonts. Right there, happy birthday die, you're going to love that. That's what I used in the card. And I have the full-size sheets of Post-it sticky if you want to have to mask out anything. And watercolor paper. You can either use the small sheets of the Tim Holtz watercolor paper, which I didn't use because my card is going to be a 5x7. So I chose the large pad of Strathmore 140-pound watercolor paper. We're going to use the Ganze Tambi new gem colors here. I think they're beautiful. I couldn't wait to open them up. And a number 12 silver black velvet. It's a 3000S round. We're going to use that to do our coloring because it's basically, it's not going to be detailed coloring, so it's a quite simple card that we're going to, quite a simple card we're going to do today. Yeah, I woke up with a really bad sore throat, so bear with me if you hear all this crackling going on. I love a birthday card to have on hand, and I love the jewel gems, the color gems by Ganze Tambi. You're going to find them so smooth, just like all the other ones, and so vibrantly metallic. It's gorgeous. And our little Altenew mini blossom die cutter, of course, we're going to use that. A number 830 gem red we'll put on our card, an 831 gem pink. And then we're going to move forward to the 861, and that's the gem violet. Beautiful colors. My card size I chose with watercolor paper is a 5x7. Strathmore watercolor pad comes with 12 sheets, 11 by 15 inches. That is a wonderful amount of paper to work with and to cut off. It's a 400 series. If you're looking for it, it's the brown with the pink thistles on the front, and it says 400 series / best. And it is the best. I love it because even though it's 140 pounds, it has the bendability. Not its dependability, but its bendability. You're able to fold it with a beautiful crease. Now, yeah, that's my thinking mode when you see my fingers going into, tapping. So I grabbed hold of the micro pour tape, and I found that's not going to work with using quite a bit of water. So the frog tape, perfect. It comes off the paper nicely if you are nice with it, if you have a good relationship together, it will work with you. So, I like the idea of having that micro pour tape on the side so that the colors, wouldn't seep, but it would also hold the fold. Wow, that's a good one, isn't it? It'll hold the fold. And then I keep in mind that I want to have, because I'm not going to cut this down. It's not like having a sheet to put over top of a card. I want to have it reasonably measured all the way around with the same amount of cardstock white showing. You know me and my relationship with white cardstock. So I'm working with it, and it worked with me. So let's color. Can't wait. My watercolor brush, just like that brush, is a nice fat juicy number 12. You don't need to have a number 12. An 8, 10 would be wonderful. I just think having a larger brush size makes it easier to apply a lot of paint at once. So I started out with the gem red. It looks like ruby red slippers. It's beautiful. And I wanted to transition the colors, but not with a perfect blend. That's why I'm doing the lines. That's why I am painting intentional lines with my transitions. I just moved that so you could see how beautiful these colors look. So to intensify the color, all you have to do is dry it off a little, a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfectly dry. And then saturate your paintbrush, not adding as much water ratio. Excuse me. I love it when he surprises me, old Spanky. And I liked picking up my brush here. I wanted to just say this and make the stroke. So when I make a stroke, I pick up the brush, I go back and make a stroke. Because if you go back and forth, you're going to lose some of the color on your return of the paintbrush. On the strokes also, I'm not going for perfection, like blending that, I want to see the transition from the red to the pink and the violet. Now I sprayed out, I spritzed some water, not to leave it like that. I wanted it to be underneath the color. So I'll dry it, then I'll apply more paint, and you will get that subtlety of drops underneath. It's so pretty. And it really does. It is a different look. Instead of spraying and then putting a paper towel, lifting it up and leaving the drops. You can see as I push the paintbrush back and forth, you can see those little dots appear, and I think that is yummy. Once I dry it well, we're going to remove the frog tape. And no matter how many times you do this, it is such a nice clean surprise every time you take off a strip that you see that nice clean edge, isn't it? Look at that. And for me, somebody that likes to cover up white cardstock, it's surprising that I want to reveal white cardstock, right? If you watch my tutorials, you know what I'm talking about here. As I created this card, I had no plan. This was going to be the front of the card. And then, like I always do, I changed my mind midstream. So I thought, okay, let's put the happy birthday. This die, the font on this is perfect. Notice as I changed my mind, I change it in midstream, my sentences. All of a sudden a thought will come to my mind and I don't stop to complete my thought process as I'm talking. I jump right in there with my thought. And here, see, I was just a little bit impatient there. Doesn't matter because I changed how I was going to create this card. So that was no problem whatsoever to get a little bit to have to tear off. And I'm going to use, because it's a 5x7 and I'm keeping the fold out there, I'm just cleaning my brush and setting it aside. I don't like my brushes to sit in the water collecting, sopping up water, especially in a number 12. It will just scoop up as much, it's a thirsty brush. So I took out the big boy, yes, it's the Big Shot Pro. And you've got so much real estate on this die cutting machine, it's crazy. I could have put it through the Vagabond. I think it would have just slid through there nicely. But, I had it sitting right off to the right of me on my table. So I grabbed it and put it on my workspace. And I exercised my muscles too. And here comes the happy birthday card. Loved this font. So many ideas that you will see later that you can use and utilize with this one die. Because I was thinking right here, I was going to use this as the front of the card, and I'm just seating that happy birthday back in the space. And this is, I'm just feeling it. Look at that metallic, that beautiful look to the gem colors in that Gansé Tambi set. And it's 6 colors, and it's affordable. So that's, that's a bonus, right? And then I thought, okay, I'm going to add my own lines. So I'm going to add them on each side and then cut through it and add it on the top and bottom. I like that look. And you want, even though, okay, I'm jumping back in. My sentences are breaking up. Even though I made that line perfect with the frog tape, I decided to make my lines a little crooked. If I wanted to have them even, you would see my T-square ruler out. But I thought, no, I'm going to freehand this because I like that kind of vintage. This is a vintage clean and simple. Is there such a thing? There must be, because that's what I'm calling this. And then I filled out the spaces to make it a little thick. And I really did love the look. But right here, as I'm tapping, I'm thinking, no. That's going to be the inside of my card. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut out, die cut with my little mini blossom. Love this little piece of gorgeousness. I put the happy birthday die in there. I'm making 6 cuts with my black cardstock right there. And see how that black cardstock sat out for a while and the sun hit it? And it turned it brown. So if you ever want brown cardstock with black cardstock, leave a piece of the Michaels black cardstock out and with something over top of half, and you'll end up in time. It might take a year or so. You'll have brown and black cardstock to play with. I thought that was kind of humorous when I saw that half of it turned brown. So, and it comes out of the die beautifully, and that's 110-pound Michaels cardstock that feels like 180 pounds. It's that thick. I always keep that long needle on hand so I can poke out the sentiment. And here's the ghosting I want to do for the card, the black and then the painted section. So we'll put that away, and now I decided to fold over the card base and make the portion we just completed the inside of my birthday card. I was going to go along with the balloon theme with the beautiful birthday set from Altenew, but I changed it up midstream, and I'm going to use the oxide ink, starting with Seedless Preserves. I'm going to use the Wilted Violet, then I'll move on to Picked Raspberry, I think, and then the Worn Lipstick. As I'm looking at it, I hope I make, yeah, Worn Lipstick. Then the Fired Brick and the Abandoned Coral. Look at that. My memory's still here. I'm putting the frog tape on so that I have the edges, because it is going to look like the inside. And the frog tape is wonderful. I got that at our I think Canadian Tire store. So here we go. I'm setting it aside, and I reach for my Dreamweaver embossing paste. But I like the translucent when I'm dealing with other mediums. Let's say like the paints here, which we're going to do all over again, because it's going to mimic the inside. And look how nice it is, especially if you squirt some water in the paints and wait a little bit and get it nicely saturated with the water, and you get that nice color on there. Look at that. Isn't it pretty? Once you dry this, we're going to take the Tim Holtz Mini Arts stencil, and we're going to put that on, and we're going to press down our colors on our mat so that we can mix it up with the Dreamweaver's embossing paste in translucent. Now when you look at it on the inside, it looks white, but it clears, it dries perfectly clear, and that's what you want when you're mixing mediums together with a paste. That way the white isn't toning down your color. You're going to keep your color vibrant, and the embossing paste that is translucent will do that job for you. You'll really love the way it dries. So taking the Seedless Preserve oxide inks here, pressing them down into your mat, we're going to put that wonderful paste in there and mix it up. So I always start mixing with my light color. You can always darken it up right. I always keep that in mind. So the paste goes down white, and then it dries clear. So you have that beautiful vibrant color. And a quick reminder, there it is there, the Dreamweaver. And a quick reminder, it's the mini stencil that we're using of the hearts. And talk about changing it up, because I really did want to have I envisioned using the balloon set by Altenew, the Happy Birthday set, but it changed midstream and I didn't mind at all. I really did like the finished card. So I'm going to move this up using the light paste, and my goal here was just to add a little bit of the, like, darken it up and put that on the, you know, just on the edges. But it did end up going, you know, in places there, the dark and the light, but the end result was wonderful. I love this color combination with gem colored paints, really pretty. And as I'm watching the edit, it was so much fun. I really do like using embossing paste and stencils. And what I'm doing here to save it, I'm putting it on an acetate sheet. I buy these little containers. They're really small with the screw lid, and at the dollar store they're 12 for $1 or something, because you know my dollar store is nothing for $1. And as I take the picked raspberry and the worn lipstick, I'm going to mix that together to get the next layer up. But what I was going to say, if you have enough embossing paste colored, these little wee containers at your dollar store, you can just put it in there and it will stay nice. And then that way, if you have another project, you always have the paste pre-mixed, and you have those little wee containers that fit almost anywhere. They're not taking up any space. And the ones at my dollar store, they go on top of each other. So I set them over on my unit over there, and it's wonderful. So that's just a little tidbit I'm throwing in this video, is to check your dollar store for those little wee clear plastic containers, and then put your embossing paste on a piece of acetate when you're finished and slide it into one of those little containers and save it. If you have enough. That way you're not wasting the color, and you know, it's just affordable, and I really like doing that. So here we're going to take the fired brick to end up going to the top of the card, and so that took the fired brick and abandoned coral. I mixed that up, and that color in the Ganze Tambi gem colors, when it dries with the translucent embossing paste, oh, I can't even tell you. It just, I didn't know what to do here because I knew I wanted it higher. So I thought, okay, you got to be careful here. I should have actually taken my heat tool, but I'm holding the one portion up in the air and sliding it down. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't ride on the air of caution, do I? I like the way the oxide inks work with the translucent embossing paste. They work really well, and they work well with the gem colors here, the paints. But look at that. That did not look well to me. No. So I wait till it's dry. I don't scrape it now, but when it's dry and it's almost like rubber, and you pick it off, and then it gives you that nice undertone like you sprayed it with water. It's really pretty. You get the heart look. And when you see what I do with this, we are going to place the family die on the inside. It's called Our Family Frame Die. And that's going to be our shaker element. But see how I try to get it up, but it is like plastic. You're just able to scrape it so nicely. And then you have that subtle look of the heart, which is much better than putting purple on red. Oh my, I don't know what I was thinking there, but there you go. Now the undertone there of that paste mixing with the red, that jewel red, well, it's actually gem red, is very pretty to me, the whole thing. So here we go. Oh, love this. Look at that. It's almost the first time I like to see white cardstock. As I'm looking at it, then I'm going, quick, stay away from that paste. Get that card away, Carol. After I realized that I'm going to make a shaker, it really didn't matter if I got anything on that side. But I was being cautious. Now here comes the black pen. This is actually the precision marker. It's like your Copic multi-liner. And it's quite a thick one. I think it's a 0.05. I generally like the 0.3, but I think that's what this one is. And then I'm adding the line just a little thinner than I did the inside, curving it. I didn't want to leave it perfectly straight. I like the look of this. It's got a clean look to it, but then you take that clean edge off by making it kind of, you know, cattywampus in just a little bit. Yes, we don't want to go overboard, right? So now here comes the Our Family frame die. It's so pretty. I didn't know whether I wanted to have it this way or this way, but here's the numbers if you're interested in ordering it. I liked not losing a lot of the space that we put the heart paste on, so I went using it horizontal. And I put some of the microcord tape, I ripped it off. I didn't want a lot because if I'm going to remove that tape, I don't want to take up any of my embossing paste with it after it runs through the Vagabond. So there you have it, and a nice piece here that you can use just to write a note on the back and put it in your card. I didn't end up using this piece, but I am going to use the frame around it, and we need to concentrate on putting the acetate behind it so that I can make a shaker. So now what we have to do is concentrate on getting the hole filled with acetate, because this is going to be the shaker. So what I do is I put a whole piece of acetate inside the card base and cut around it. Then I take it out and take about a 1/16 of an inch off once I have it cut. That way I know it's going to seat in there nicely, and then I put a piece of cardstock over top, and then I'll work on the front piece, the actual die cut right there. See that piece there? You need to turn it around, Carol. You're right there, yes. I thought about doing it upside down and just, you know, making it a little different, but no, visually it looked better the other way. So now I'm making the little nicks in the paper so that I can cut it out. And this is going to go behind the acetate on the inside of the card there. So I'll grab my Fiskars cutter, trim that out. So now as you can see, I have the acetate, the full sheet, and I have the cardstock. And it was just a little bit too on the nick there. See how I had to cut it off? It was just too wide. So I took a tiny bit off of that. I'm stuttering. And it was perfect. I was ready to go. Now on the inside portion, I need to cut out that actual die cut, the Our Family frame. So what I do is I'm going to pull back my Ken Oliver mat here, and I'm going to use my actual cutting board, my cutting mat. So I can take a pair of nice sharp, I have those new tools. And I'm telling you, the cutting knives in this, it's 3 cutting knives. They're so sharp. It's amazing the difference between cutting with something that's amazingly sharp than something that's dull. And these are brand new and sharp. So I'm tracing this out on my inside piece because I do have to cover up the back, right? You don't want to see the back portion of the shaker. So I'll take a pencil, I'll lightly go over, trace this, and then I'll take one of those new cutting knives and cut this out. It's wonderful. Then I'll have the backing, so it has a nice clean back on it. I like that. And here's the set I bought. And it has a thin, medium, and large base on the cutting knives. And I used this one to the far right, that very fine cutting knife. Oh, it was like cutting through butter. I couldn't believe it. And we're talking 140-pound cardstock here. And it just went through it like nothing. I was amazed. And with the die, you have those little tick marks, you know, the little grooves in it. No problem. Cut it beautifully. And I love having my cutting mat underneath the actual well, this is a Ken Oliver mat, but whatever mat you use, it's nice to put it over top. I use the gray matte instead of the brown because it seems to be more pleasing to my camera for some reason, the gray. It's like they say white is as well. It doesn't have the shadow as much as a colored base. Oh, there he comes. Hello. Yeah, I think I'll walk by while she's cutting paper. Yes. Oh, he's just, his attitude, he doesn't care, does he? I took my Click white eraser. I love these erasers. I get them at the stationery store. They're soft, and you can cut them with your scissors when they get all black and everything from the pencil ink. So I took that, I took my line off, put my mat back, and I used a tape runner just to put the acetate over top. You don't need anything super, super sticky, just for your acetate placement. And I wanted the acetate obviously to be on the whole cardstock, and then I'll work with the acetate behind the actual frame die. So here I'm just setting it to make sure I don't have it inside out, outside right, you know, that when I cut it, it's the way that I actually had it. It wasn't turned over. You want to make sure that all the edges, so you don't have any of that white peeking through, and there, it was perfect. So let's go ahead and add the tape, and then this is going to snugly fit inside, and I realized I needed one for the inside of the card as well, and we'll remedy that, no problemo. Now once I have this situated and I know where I'm going to put the tape runner, and then on top of the tape runner I will add my acetate. Then on top of the acetate piece I will add double-sided tape. See the blue on there? That's the runner. And then I put my acetate over top, and now I'm working with the double-sided tape on top of the acetate, and I'm making sure I cover every section. I don't want it to move or come apart when you open up the card, especially going through the mail. You want to make sure everything is super sticky. You can see the acetate on there, and then I'm going to peel this away, and the double-sided tape will secure it to the inside panel right there. And so that, first of all, then you're going to cut your piece out, trace it, then cut it. Then you're going to put your runner, add your acetate, then on top of the acetate you're going to put this double-sided tape because it's super sticky. And now we will seat it. Yeah, I decided to go this way, where I am going to hold it in place and then put the folded card over on to the cutout. I think I work better that way. Yeah, you can tell I'm a little hesitant, but I do that. Now, I need that frame. So I'm going to wet down my Ganze Tambi Gem colors again. And this is just on a spare sheet of watercolor paper that I had left there. And I'm going to put that beautiful, beautiful red, then the pink, then the purple. And this is so I have the frame section to go inside the folded card. Like when you open up the card on the left-hand side, I need to have a frame to cover the acetate. Because once we do this shaker and you open the card, you're going to see the shaker pieces on the outside, and bonus, you're going to see it on the inside as well. Just love it. What's nice about die cutting this frame out is I don't have all of the embossed hearts on this piece on the inside. So the inside panel does have its own distinct look to it. It's not the same as the front. It has its own identity, so to speak, right? Isn't that sweet? Look at that. And then you quickly dry it. You know you're not going to use the center portion. You can, but I'm not. I'm going to leave some clean white cardstock on the back of the card. Yes. So look at that, double duty. I'm heating, I'm painting, I'm doing it all. Look at me go. And knowing that I just need the outside of the frame, not the gut piece. So this is just awesome. Look at, it's just, yeah, that paintbrush. Whoa. Good thing I don't have a lot of water on it, or I'd have a terrible mess, wouldn't I? So once this is nice and dry, I'm cleaning out my brush right now. That's why I'm kind of playing around. And look at that. Don't you love that metallic look to these paints? It's just beautiful. And I love the way that it integrates itself into each color. So pretty. Then I take a paper towel and I think I'm going to clean everything up and put these away. This is the second time I've put them away. Yeah, let's hope they stay there, right? I don't think I have to use them for anything else. And then I'm going to show you the Ganze Tambi colors that you're able to get. Now, this pack is the newest one. I just got these, just bought these. And I highly recommend them, especially for a metallic paint. So pretty. And they're gem colors for sure. They're just beautiful. And then you go and you have the pearl colors, and then you have the starry colors, which the golds and the silvers. And then I just threw these Fine Tech in. They're beautiful as well. Kind of the same, but a little more expensive for those Fine Tech than the Ganze Tambi paints. I'm dyslexic. And to put them away, not these ones, I have to get another tin, but my colored pencils came in this tin. So I stamped out some round circles and I made my color swatch. Then I put acetate over top. On the inside, I cut out separately all the little colors to the Tambi that came with the Tambi set. Cut them out, put it on the acetate. Then I Velcroed on the tin can each of these little palette pieces. And look at, you can put it right up sideways and they're not falling out. Yet I can take it out and set it down. I don't have to worry about it. I don't use these inside the tin. I do take the Velcro. And so I have the names, I have the swatches, and I can actually paint on the acetate on the top if I want, just to do mixes on the empty circles I left. There you have it. You have just a quick overview of the Ganze Tambi colors and the way that I store them. I think you really like Velcroing them down onto the tin. So there's our shaker. I added some glue runner to the back of the frame that we're going to use for the front. And to the right hand side, I have the frame that we're going to use for the inside. Now I need to, I already put the glue on the frame, my tape runner, and then I put the acetate on. Now I'll cut around it so that I can slide my scissor underneath just a wee bit so you don't see the acetate. And then we have our shaker element. I have to put double-sided tape around it. I'm just going to show you there. There you go. I have acetate already, right? We already put down the inside panel. This is the outside panel, so we can put our shaker guts in there, and we can proceed to put the Scotch roll of double-sided tape on the back here. I want to cut the Scotch tape nice and thin so I can maneuver it all the way around. So I put the first layer on right here. You're going to see that. And then I'm going to add a second layer. So it's up 2 layers high. I'm going to zoom in here and just show you how nice it looks around the frame. You don't see any of the tape either on the edges or the inside because you're running your tape nice and thin. So I'm going to put a coat there. I'm going to go all the way around. Aren't those hearts gorgeous? I had to add that. So now with the gut piece of the frame we made for the inside, this is just the plain coloring we did, I'm going to put it behind the happy birthday. And I'm going to do it upside down so that the colors, right like that. So we need to put some glue. I'm going to use the Nouveau glue, and I'm going to put it around here on all of the pieces, that die cut piece. You know, even the intricate ones. You want to make sure that it is nice and secure to the piece that you're going to add to it. Not going to see much of this because you are going to put the die cut behind it, but you are going to see a little bit of it. There it is there. And I like the way that you turn around that gut piece, the inside panel of the frame die, turn it around, And then when you put your black cardstock in there with your die cut of the original inside panel, so you have the black ghosting effect, it's going to be nice. Take your long pin or your pokey tool, take out the excess glue, and then we're going to add glue to the back of the actual die cut piece. The font is beautiful. Now I need to add the backing, like the back portion, right? So you can't see this. So I used my 1/2-inch ATG gun. I find this super sticky. Nothing comes off when I use my ATG guns, whether it's the 1/4 inch. I like the 1/2 inch because it adds more glue. But whatever, the ATG gun is magnificent. And we all use them, I think, well, I did back in the day. It's just that it's very cumbersome and large. But if I want something really sticky, I grab the ATG gun. Now we'll get ready to put our black die cut inside there. I just love the look of this. I love the colors. I love the softness to it. So let's get out our liquid glue, put it behind there, and seat it right inside. It seats beautifully, and I like the Nouveau glue for this. You can see how I just dot it and run it and get it in every spot I possibly can. Then I'll seat it in there, and then I'll take my long needle and I'll pick out any of the glue. And it's not very much. Most of it lands on your fingers, then you can wash your hands off. Not too much. It's very pretty, and I'm just making sure that all the glue is in there, and yeah, very pretty. And now I'll add the outside piece, pulling it over to the left a little bit so I get the black ghosting on there, and then I'm going to use the crystal glaze at the end and put it over top so it really stands out, because this kind of blends in, doesn't it? And then we're going to work on our shaker. Yeah, and I went over and grabbed my Stampin' Up! Punch, the one with the 3 hearts to it, and I took the inside piece that came out, the gut piece, and I cut out a lot of hearts. You get a large, medium, and a small heart. And that's what I'm going to add to the inside piece. So I set those aside to the left. So now we're getting ready for the shaker. And I had to look around my stash, and I found just the right shade of pink hearts in another container. I get these ones from Michael's. You just twist them around, and it has all different kinds of shaker bits in them. And this so happened to have beautiful pink opal hearts. Oh, my gift is getting excited. Woohoo! Look at the card here. Yay! I'm going to move these hearts more to the center as I add the actual frame and acetate piece. The backing is all off the Scotch double-sided tape, and it's 2 layers high, and we're going to seat that right over top. And we're going to call it a shaker. It's so pretty. Yeah, make sure you get all of those pieces in the center. You don't want any resting on the tape portion, right? So I am being very careful. And then we'll seat that down, and you can see the hearts that we embossed with the embossing paste and the stencil. We're going to match it up, and look at that. That Happy Birthday by Altenew, the sentiment, it's beautiful on the inside. Then when you open up the card, you've got it on the other side. It's like a double shaker bonus. It's a nice heart card to add. Just get yourself a present, put some heart wrap on it to match, and look at that. Heart-filled thanks. That's what I want to send out to you. My viewers, thank you very much for viewing, and thanks to Altenew for adding these wonderful die cuts to my project today. Now there's the inside piece of the frame that we did later on. Remember, we painted this just so we could get the frame. It's going to hide the double-sided tape when you put the frame on the outside. So I'm going to add some liquid glue. It's going to seat right on top of the acetate and dry. It's going to snuggle bug right inside the frame die. And we have the beautiful layer watercolor paper already secure on there, so everything is nice and clean. I want you to notice that I turned the frame around so that it was vice versa to the right hand side. Notice how the dark is on the bottom and on the happy birthday portion it's on the top. I thought it added a little bit of interest. And now I'm going to put these hearts that I punched out with my Stampin' Up! Heart punch, and we're going to situate those around. But I am going to change it up here because there's just too much going on, and I wanted the focal point to be the happy birthday with the Altenew happy birthday die. So I'm going to take some of them off. It's kind of fun to play around and just see what looks good. And there you go. A lot of hearts going on here today, isn't there? Yeah. So I added some large ones, and then I put a couple of the small ones inside the large hearts. I love the way that it just matches up with color, and that has everything to do with the Gansé Tambi gem colors. They really do look like gems. They're beautiful. And I love the way the shaker is on the inside and the outside of the front panel. I just think it is a wonderful attraction for the eye to open it up and see those shakers. It's kind of like a double portion of happiness in one card. Now I had an extra happy birthday in black, actually 2 of them, so I cut them apart. And I was wondering, should I add it really dark over top? And I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. But I am going to put it on the front. So when you cut them, you're going to end up with the H separate. Yeah, I'm not going to have happy birthday. I'm going to have happy birthday. Look at that. And it pops the shaker off the card for some way. Just putting that happy on there in black. So I applied the APPY. And I wanted it a little straighter than I had it there. So that's the beauty of wet glue, right? I was able to move it down. I'm going to put my H on there. Love the font, don't you? I grabbed my pin to lift it up. That way I don't get any of that residual glue all over. And putting this on a slant, I thought, no, I'm covering up those beautiful hearts. But I did put it straight, kind of straight, and on the bottom, and I put the T and the D up high. Oh yeah, happy birthday, happy birthday. Yeah, doesn't that make you want to sing that when you see the balloons coming up? Now that's a birthday card, because it says happy birthday everywhere you look. So here you have it, my friends, a happy birthday shaker card using Altenew frame die, our family frame die, and Altenew's happy birthday font sentiment. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The Gansé Tambi gem colors painted on, and a shaker with hearts everywhere. Yes, this is going to make a sweet birthday card for somebody. And it's not that difficult. It's quite a nice, clean, and simple card, don't you think? I hope you did like it. And there's not a lot of elements, yet there's just a lot of happiness, I think, in this card. So I'm going to add the glossy accents. I'm going to take my long pin, and I'm going to take anything that seeps into the letters out. I'll move over to the other side, and I'll put the glaze on some of the hearts just to make them stand out, give them a little bit of dimension. And I want to thank you. We're almost getting to the end of this tutorial. It's been a wonderful day for me to make this card and to edit and do my voiceover. I'm glad my voice hung in there so that I could get it done for you today. And you have yourself a great week. I'm going to move on. I'm not quite finished. We have to do the other side with the, I'm trying to not get my sleeve into the glossy accents. That's the last thing you need, right? When you're just finishing up a card. Either set it in something or your sleeve rubs against it, but no, it held out. Everything about it. I'm going to dry it now. I'm getting a little nervous. Yes, I am. Don't you say no to me. He's so cute, isn't he? And now, once I get it all dry so I can close it up, I'm going to show you the outside, the inside. The outside. I want to show you that the back of it's nice and clean. Nothing happened. Yeah, I've got it put away already because I don't want anything to get on my white cardstock. So I added the Crystal Glaze by Nuvo onto the Happy Birthday black cardstock. When it did dry, it was beautiful. I love the way the T and the D is set up on the frame. It just gives it a little bit of oomph. And yes, we can move forward onto our next card. I think it's lovely. I think somebody will get the fact that I'm saying happy birthday. Don't you think? As I'm taking my heat tool and drying this, I want to thank you very much for liking my videos. And at the end of my videos, I leave you other videos to watch if you're interested. And on the upper left, if you press my head, you will be able to subscribe to my tutorials. That's why my face is up there on the left. It's a subscribe button. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, it'd be terrific. I see that I'm almost at 14,000 subscribers. Wonderful friends to my channel. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for making my channel so special. And here, I'm going to give you some more hearts before I leave. I look forward to seeing you on the next card, and you have yourself a blessed week, and I hope you enjoy the pictures. Take care, everybody.